Hello, everyone. My name is Andres Diaz. Me and Will are back again for another spectacular Marvel Plus Talk. Miss Marvel episode 4 or 5, of course, called something something. But yeah, we're talking about those episodes. Will, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Uh, pretty good. I was happy to talk to you about the fourth Thor.
hmm
And was it in the text? You say it was like a 9-hour drive to Maine, and then get
Yes.
to your place.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was in the car for 9 hours.
Oh my god. Oh boy. Well, I guess
Yeah,
it's
it's a long day.
yeah. Yeah. And was there snow? Like when you're out, because you were in um Vermont, right?
Yeah,
And
no, not in. It was the
uh,
middle of summer. It's
yeah, yeah. I'm just saying because my dad. I think because I I don't know. There's some I don't know amusement park or something like that's there, and I don't know. There's some ski, something
yeah.
like
No,
that.
there's great skiing in the winter.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta tell that to my dad now. Say that. Oh no, it didn't snow there. Anyway, good way to start this episode. Let's just kind of get into it. Let me say at this, I still like the show. Um, we'll discuss
Oh
in
boy.
depth about. Oh yeah, we'll discuss yeah the positives and negatives of episode
hmm
4 and 5. And so, Will, what's your overall opinion on episode 4 and 5? Are you been happy with these episodes, and do you like the somewhat development of the storyline that we got here for this overall season 1 of Miss Marvel?
Um, I would say it's mixed.
Yeah,
There's things that I liked and things that I didn't like.
yeah,
Um, I don't know. I guess we should start with episode 4, which
yeah.
I did not love. Um,
Mm, okay.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I mean,
So,
let's see.
um, well, well, did you like that he introduced this other character, the Red Dagger?
I
Let's start with that one,
yeah yeah.
because I thought it was gonna be with Carmen, the other boy,
hmm
and I unfortunately uh, misread my information, so instead it was this other person. I like expanding the universe, but I feel like that was something that we really don't need for Miss Marvel.
Yeah, it. I felt like if this show was longer than 6 episodes, and they wanted
Mm,
to have like the Red Daggers be like this side plot where they like train her to fight, that would
right.
have been interesting. But to have them show up for like half an episode and
Yeah.
then kill off the leader and frame it as though we were supposed to care at all is just really weird. like
Right.
like that guy had 2 scenes,
I
and
I
like I feel like that death should have been more impactful, but he was barely in the show at all.
I yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I felt like they should have been fleshed out more to like justify their inclusion. But like I think they were
Yeah.
interesting. Like I wanted to know more about them, but they didn't have
Hmm.
time because they were doing all of the Jin stuff that I also just like did not care about.
Yeah. That's my biggest complaint about the show is the villain plot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's interesting. So you don't like episode 4. I like episode 4, but I do not like episode 5.
Mm.
And because of I like we seemingly kill off these two characters, and
Right.
then and I don't want you know not to move forward to episode 5, but like and then he got his powers like that, like
Yeah. I also did not like that part, and we can talk about
yeah,
it when we get to it. But Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm we're on the same page.
yeah. I just like I like the the plot about the Jin's like little beings and like getting to this place, right? But
Hmm.
I again, as you say before, we should have a 8 or 9 episode, you know, miniseries where we explore more of this interdimensional creatures or aliens or whatnot. I
Hmm.
because I'm a little fuzzy about how they are. Like like you didn't like are they aliens? Like there's yes they have these weapons that are high advanced than ours and it's you, but like I'm kind of where who they are. Like I need to know the who and what, and they're not giving us to me. Like it's not giving us the audience in this show.
Right. We don't have a lot of information about them. We
Yeah,
just know they're from another dimension,
yeah,
and
and
that's it.
yeah, and let
um,
me say this out loud. Like the family drama between the mom and then the son, it's so undercooked.
yeah.
Like so, like episode 4, like she say, like no, let him stay, let him go. He's not coming with us. And then in episode 5, when Kamala came back from the time travel, which
Hmm.
again another issue I
Yeah,
have here.
yeah. Not a thing that needed to be introduced there.
Yeah,
Just they keep just adding so many different layers to the show when it really just needed to be like very straightforward. Like uh,
hmm,
there are
yeah,
too many factors.
yeah. I'm just curious, how is this all gonna tie to the Marvels now? Like I'm just like I
I
like
don't think it will. I think it's just going to be Kamala is there.
oh
I keep calling her Kamala because of Kamala Harris. Kamala.
yeah, Kamala Khan,
Yeah.
yeah, like it's gonna be just there because like we want her to be in the movie just with Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau, aka Proton. So yeah, oh my god,
Hmm.
it's yeah, that's very disappointing. I think when we get to like Thor like next week and the overall opinion, I just feel like the Phase 4 has been very mixed, and like they're throwing out so many of these threats and like not paying them off.
Hmm.
Like the multiverse is kind of all over the place, and you know I, Thunderbolts is weird. It's like we got the director recently, and it's like where is that going to place in the Phase 4 or really Phase 5 for Marvel? And it's like yeah, I kind of wish we did more to connect to the Marvels because it's like everything is very secretive in that
Hmm.
movie. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a year away. I get it, but like, I want to know what's the plan for the Marvels.
Yeah.
So like, well, like none like I don't want to spoil Thor 4, but like, there's a mid credit scene that set up something that is possibly for a Thor sequel in the
Right.
future, and I like that. That was my
Yeah.
favorite. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree completely. Like it actually felt like they were like moving towards something with that.
Yeah.
Whereas
Um,
everything else in Phase 4 has felt like they're kind of treading water.
Trying water, or like introducing these new characters by these famous actors.
Hmm.
Uh, because when we get to Thor 4, it's funny we continue that trend, and it's just so funny.
Hmm.
But yeah, um, piggyback the Red Dagger. I did like the guy who played the Red Dagger. I like his chemistry with
Yeah.
Kamala. I did like their fight. I love the banner they had. Like, oh, you copied that from Donkey Kong. Yeah, Donkey Kong, right? And
Hmm.
and she replies like, oh, you're a Ninja Turtle. I like that. That was a fun fight scene.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
really liked the Red Daggers. I just don't think they were
I mean,
like. I think if the show was like as long as it should be to fit all the plot things that they're trying to do, that would have been like a several episode arc, and instead it's like half of one episode.
Yeah, I feel that way. I feel that way more in episode 5. Like,
Yeah,
I,
I
like
yeah.
here, episode 4. Let me say, the best thing about episode 4 for me over why you don't like it. For me, it was the family drama of Kamala's grandma, right,
hmm
and
Yeah,
her
I
mom.
liked that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that was the thing that kept me like that episode more because it was like it was very funny to see uh, see a picture of Kamala's mom during the 80s and of course saying that Bon Jovi was her influence. It
hmm
was like it's very real. I think you could get that from your
Yeah.
parents.
No, I liked all that stuff. Like, I really like when the show like just focuses on like her relationship with her family.
Yes,
Like, I think that's where the heart of the show is and where it should be. And then every time they try to introduce the more like
like
superhero
MC.
elements, yeah,
Yeah,
it gets weaker. And I feel like if they just had like one superhero thing to do and they could
yeah,
balance it, cause
yeah.
like Kamala is very similar to Peter Parker in that she's like just like an everyday teenager.
Yes,
And you got to focus on like that family stuff, and then like if you're introducing her, have her fight like one supervillain that's like in her hometown,
yeah,
and it isn't like a world-ending threat.
yeah,
Just to, like introduce the character and like get to know her and like see the like things that make her tick.
yeah. I agree. I mean, so
Because right now they're like throwing in all of the family stuff, but then there's also the gin and the red daggers and whatever is like going on with the Bengal
mhm,
and every like it's just like too much to do in 6 episodes.
yeah. I yeah. I was like, yeah. I feel like they're better at character driven than plot driven
Mm-hmm.
because I I enjoyed more the character driven stuff in the show, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing that's working with the show.
Right.
But the plot driven stuff, I just don't like. I shouldn't say I don't care. It's like I'm intrigued, but it's
They
just
don't,
it
they don't
has
flesh it out enough for it to like
yeah
actually capture you.
it didn't grasp me at all. Like I think it was like episode 3 where I was like yeah like right away we just rushed the villains
But there
attacking.
weren't villains until episode 3, and then all of a sudden
Oh
they're
yeah, yeah,
attacking.
yeah. I yeah. I mean, it's just weird. And we haven't mentioned damage control. Like where are they? Like
Yeah, I
you,
guess they're just racially profiling Southeast
sadly,
Asians.
yeah. I it's just
Oh,
like yeah. That's another one. I'm like, what are we doing with that one?
I
It's like
don't know, man.
yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I. It's like um. And like I guess I I don't know. Like, I kind of wish I want that the villain I mentioned, the inventor, that was cop, the cop bird thing. That's a genetically hence Thomas or Nicholas Tesla or something like that. Like, I
Nicholas,
wish.
I think it's Thomas Edison is the one,
Yeah,
but
my bad. Like, I wish that bird villain was here and like be very clear because I don't need Cosmic for Miss Marvel, but
right.
I wish I want to understand like I wish we should have tie in more in Captain Marvel universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like I kind of wish Monica was here, and then for the villain, I was thinking. Well, we did let him off, and I don't like him as a villain, but like you could flesh him out. I have Drew Law, his character Young Yog, or whatever his name is, here as the main villain again, but flesh it out more. Like I think it'd be this show could have been a good way to flesh out more of the Creed stuff, but I just I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm signing you. I'm like in this tipping point of signing you with you. Why they changed the powers?
Hmm.
Because I, if you just kept the Inhuman stuff, everyone could at least understood what was going on with that. You can easily put Maximus as the main villain here, and like he's kind of like recruiting these new Inhumans that being affected by the terrorist mist. Like that could have been a great, you know, plot-driven thing for a show. But yeah, we got
Yeah.
this instead.
Yeah. I don't
Um,
know. Like I feel like the Jin could have worked, and I thought it was like a really cool way of pulling in like an incredibly obscure Marvel character and like tying
yeah,
it to like Pakistani like cultural things. But
yeah,
like
yeah,
they just like do not flesh them out at all. Like I don't know. I think if they had given the show like enough episodes to actually like explore the ideas that they're presenting, there would have
yeah,
been like an exploration of their backstory. Like we have no idea what their dimension even looks like, or like
yeah,
what life was like there. Like why do they want to return so bad? You know,
yeah, yeah.
like
Yeah, that's that part. I'm like, okay, is there like a ticking bomb and stuff like that, or they're they're foreigners in this dimension and they don't feel fit into this dimension, so like they want to go back, and it's like, oh, okay,
okay,
but
but like I want to know more about that. You know?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, and I just don't understand that. And I guess oh, one other thing it's kind of weird, but I don't mind this. But I do like we're shaping up Kamala's suit. Kind of,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of cool because one of the criticisms I have for the MCU in terms of their costumes, like not now, like I think they're doing better with their costumes, but like before, before Scarlet Witch had her suit in WandaVision and then and Multiverse,
Mm-hmm.
um, all suits were like military, and I never liked that.
Yeah.
And like, and here I like how we're not giving her yet. Like we're not giving her a military suit. Like we're slowly shaping her costume, and I really like that. Like I was giddy when episode 5, when the mom picked up Kamala's necklace and it got broken and it has
Mm-hmm.
the symbol of the costume, and I was like, oh yes. Um, which should never make sense. I mean, it's different from the one from Miss Marvel's costume, right? When Kara took over, right? Because yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I appreciate that that her costume is putting together like slowly, and I think in episode 6 we'll see her in a full costume, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
And then I I do wonder, um, with the with the Jins, it's like are they part of a race that we do know? Like, are we going to reveal it in a big way that's like connected to the the Shang-Chi and the Legends of Ten Rings post-credit scene, and then like and also connect to this race that are probably going to be re-changed. Like we're not going to use that alien race, but we're going to rechange them. Like that's what they're doing with this. Like you see that happening, Will, of them like tying into like a more famous alien race we know from the comics, and be this
Maybe.
maybe okay.
Yeah. Maybe eventually. Like I don't know. I could see it tying into the Shang Chi thing, which I think could tie into the Eternals eventually. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
I don't
Eternals.
see that happening in episode 6. I think they're
Okay,
just gonna leave it as like,
there.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. 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 Let's kind of like. I mean, I like. I do like the scenery um of Contachage, like the area that her grandma's at. Like I appreciate we went to a different location, and I will say one thing I like about episode 4 is the action scenes. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't bored. I was very thrilled about the action scenes, and like the chase through the streets was wonderful. Like I I think they did not disappoint me with the action scenes in there,
Yeah,
and
the
so
car chase was fun.
yeah, I was really like enthralled. And one thing I like about that episode was there were like I like how Kamala is getting used to using her powers,
Hmm.
and like when the bus or train or whatever like was gonna hit the family that was in the bicycle or something like that, and I like how she covered it to make the thing flip. And so I really dug that. I like how she's getting used to having handle of her powers soon. So I really like that. And I guess it'll be a good way to transition to episode 5, because when episode 4 ended, and obviously the main villain, stabbed the Bangle,
Hmm.
it somehow transported her into this time, the one that we've been talking about throughout the series, the Indian, the India British
Or
War, or what was it called?
the
I'm
partition
Partition,
when
right?
Pakistan was broken off of India.
Yes. Um, I will say, getting to episode 5 now, I I like the half part of the partition before. This is where I feel like the episode was a big letdown. Is when we bring Kamala into,
Yeah, I
and then
yeah.
you know what I mean.
No,
That's where I
I
was.
agree. The reason I liked episode 5 more was because I really liked the opening with her great grandmother.
Yes.
I thought that was really strong. But I agree. The second uh, Kamala comes back, I thought it got a lot weaker.
Yeah. Well.
Not because of Kamala, but
Yeah. No.
because
No.
of
No. Yeah. Because of the time travel thing.
yeah.
I was fine. I want to say I was fine with her being the one like helping her, her grandma to find the father. Like I'm fine with that part. I was bothered that we went back to the present right away. Like I I
Yeah, I'm hoping they like explain how the time travel happened because that just feels like a random thing to throw in. Again,
yeah,
they're just like introducing elements and then not exploring them any further.
yeah, because now now I'm kind of confused. Like, is this a cosmic thing or a magical thing now? Like, now you're throwing me off. Like, what
Yeah,
kind of,
I'm gonna
you
go
know?
with magic, just
Okay,
like because it's like other dimensions, which has only really come up in Doctor Strange stuff.
yeah. Um, and not to go into deep with Thor 4, but like there's like a mention of a dimension we know that was related to this, like
Hmm.
um like um a little spoiler, but for Thor 4, but like the dream dimension was mentioned in Thor 4, and I was
Hmm.
like, okay, and there's a dragon, uh, another spoiler.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I'm like kind of curious. Is like, are we leaning into more magic or cosmic in this show? And it's like, and I can see what you're saying. Well, like it's definitely magic, because I I thought initially we are gonna do something that was like cosmic energy or some sort of
I think that would make sense to tie it in with Captain Marvel, but
yeah,
and they keep saying cosmic in the show, but everything that they've described seems like it's just magic.
yeah. Um, I think this phase is like going into conflict territories where we're just not gonna explain any of these things,
Yeah,
like it being cosmic or magic, because we don't do that in the comics either. So
right. A lot of the cosmic stuff does end up just feeling like magic,
yeah,
like
I
the
mean,
power cosmic and all that.
yeah,
But
and I was shocked what happened with towards the end of the fourth Thor, and I was like, oh wow, we really went there,
mhm,
because it was like comic accurate, like if you know what I'm talking about. So
mhm.
Um. So yeah. So I really like the flashback. I like how it. I noticed like a was like a meme or like something like a thread from Instagram. How they were like this was similar to like the Wang Wu and his wife montage that we saw in Shang-Chi,
Mm.
and it was like the flip form of that, where you're seeing this Jin being kind of, like we don't know what's going on with her yet.
Mm-hmm.
Which another problem was, it's like, okay, how did you get there? But whatever. Um, and then it was interesting how he met the husband, and like all of that was very wonderful, and I really like their chemistry in such a short time.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Shang-Chi's, with those two characters there, it's like it was so wonderful, and and very tense as well when we were like almost there to the partition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the partition, sorry,
Yeah.
and like all that was very captivating and just very like just I was like very happy to see this,
Mm-hmm.
as a important thing to learn from history. And I don't mind the great I don't know how you call this great mother to
Mm-hmm.
Kamala's side, seeing her back here. It does add intrigue to me. Like, oh wow, like she does have some ability to do something, but where is like how it fits into the show is just a question that I need to wait for episode 6. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but one thing I am very disappointed about is just the development of the main villain. I don't know the character's name. Top of my name.
I don't either, which is a testament to how forgettable the villains
Yeah, like
are.
Nanjim, right? Nanjim.
Uh,
Oh, I'm saying it
I'm
wrong,
trying to
but
look it up, but
yeah, it's the leader of the Clansons.
yeah.
Um, I wish we had just a better understanding of their friendship or relationship they had, and I think this is where I think the villains have been the most undercooked in the show. Like so far, the hero stuff have been the best part, but the villain part
Mm-hmm.
of the show has been the weakest. Like at least
Yeah.
in Moon Knight, I can say Moon Knight had a good handle of their villain,
Yeah.
and
I
like we
mean,
knew it.
Arthur Harrow is great.
Yeah, and here it's like a step down from that. Like it, it's like we don't know what. I mean, we know they want to go back to their dimension. I get that,
Yeah.
but I want to know how they get there. Like I want to know how they get to Earth from
Mm-hmm.
Mars,
Right.
which we haven't seen, and I'm trying to remember if she explained that in episode 3
I
when she
don't.
was talking to Kamala.
I don't think she did.
Okay, yeah, she just
Um,
explained the culture, like who they were. That's it,
right.
and it's just so far I'm just not invested in the villain plot, and they're doing the thing I don't like is like you're trying to sympathetic me into these villains, but like I don't get that. I
Yeah.
mean,
Like they haven't done anything sympathetic, and we don't know anything about their backstory to like
yeah,
sympathize with. So
yeah,
I,
you know, um,
yeah,
I
it's.
yeah,
I mean, they
so
killed them off.
yeah, and that's the thing I want to theorize. Like, are they dead?
I think they're
Because
dead. Yeah.
okay, because I yeah, I was just like when the other member of class died, like saw the thing open the portal, and she went in and then completely disintegrated. I was like, oh god, please no, let the other one do it. And then she did, and it was like, oh wow. It's like, oh, we're done with the show. I'm not like, oh, okay, well, what else we have besides damage control, which I
And Kamran,
yeah, oh my god,
which,
let's
uh,
I I mean, first off, like he still doesn't know that Bruto's name is Bruno, and like you still call him Brian.
Yeah.
Oh
I,
my god, yeah.
damage control is really like. Do the writers like not know what damage control does? Because it's not what they're having it do here. And like,
Yeah. I
I like in Spider-Man, it was already kind of like,
messy.
yeah, but
Yeah.
this is just like, why are they running
Like
like a
yeah. Well,
prison? Which seems to be they're also doing that in She-Hulk, which is weird. I don't know, like damage control. They're just like the janitors. Why are they making them the new Shield? That's so weird.
yes. Yeah. I think I mentioned this right in early on in the
Mm-hmm.
podcast and the previous episodes, right? I was like, it was interesting that they changed this comedic like like how you call it, like comedic sub side of Marvel universe. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we're seeing the cleanup crew cleaning up the mess that the superheroes do,
Right.
right? And I was like, oh, well, this is your take, and we saw that a little bit in No Way Home, of course,
Mm-hmm.
before the show, and I was like, I was kind of intrigued, but it just kind of segues into the villain plot where I don't know what's the current state of the Stark International, like the Stark Industry stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did Damage Control kind of separate itself from Stark and like it's its own entity? Like, I I don't know what's going on with what's going on with Stark Industry and what's going on with Damage Control as a
Right.
whole.
Right.
So we need those answers either in um well,
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. Thank you. I was thinking about that. But most particularly for me is either Armor Wars or Ironheart.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two. Like, I think needs to explain what's been going on since Iron Man's death. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So but yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, this was like Spider-Man: Homecoming. Like, got it right, and then No Way Home, they brought this new idea to Damage Control, and yeah, and they're like the new Shield. I'm like,
Yeah. It's
I
and like Sword is right there.
I know, yeah, I know. It's so weird. Well, they made such a clear thing with Sword is like, oh, they're not like galactic, like in the comics. They're like more like
They're
Air Force thing, whatever.
sentient weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sentient
Well,
weapons.
they do have like cosmic stuff though.
Yeah, well, with with Captain Marvel and Monica and all that.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. I don't know. It's weird. I hope She-Hulk explains this all. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that was the prison that's like holding the Abomination, like in the trailer. Like, I didn't know that was
Yeah,
connected. Okay,
yeah,
yeah, it was. I mean, it was cool. I mean, I will say that. It
yeah.
was,
I don't
yeah,
know.
I don't
I
know.
feel like that should be like. And I guess they could explain it if like after Stark died, um, the U.S. government just took over damage control and made it into
Yeah,
like the new Shield. Um,
yeah,
because of like the existing relationship between Stark and the government post Civil War,
yes. No,
but they have not said that at all, so it just feels
yeah.
weird.
Well, and I want to like maybe I could not see Stark doing that, like letting
I don't
damage.
think he would want it, but
Yeah,
I think after his death, I could see
yeah.
that
I just
happening.
yeah, I agree. Yeah. Let's hopefully we get the answer soon than later.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Then there was something else. Well, let's. I guess let's get into the other guy, Carmen, the other
Karma.
boy.
Yeah,
Yeah, Carmen. Thank you. I'm sorry.
that's
Carmen.
alright.
Because like he's been again, he's another one that's underdeveloped, and I just want to know where he's being placed in this show. Like, it's like we have Bruno, who I care more about to follow, and
Mm-hmm.
like, and the other friend as well,
Yeah.
and and the family, and like that's enough for me. And like,
Yeah.
and I guess he's from the comics, and I, I guess if I was satisfied with the whole change, I could like him more. But it was just weird how they brought him over so fast because he's like layer on to this. Like in the comics, he comes later in the Miss Marvel series, and I don't know
Mm.
why we introduced him here. So
Yeah.
I, uh, this is my problem with superhero things recently. I don't like that they're like fast, quickly setting up heroes, new
Mm-hmm.
heroes, and without developing them right. Like,
Right.
again, Moon Knight. Like Layla was developed, like very good, and when she became the Scarlet Scarab,
Scarab.
right, it was satisfying, and I didn't have a problem with that. And then
Mm-hmm.
here, I have a problem with this, and it's like he's probably going to have this redemptive arc that's not like satisfying because
Right.
it's
Because we
completely
barely know him. Yeah.
yeah, we barely know him and unearned from this show, and it's like I don't care.
Yeah.
So yeah, oh my god, and yeah, when she died, and then she said her son's name, and then like this Andrew went out, and then like the scene later, he gets hit by it, and then he gets superpowers. I was like, oh my god. And I want to get into like theory. Do you think this is a way we could get Kamala have her powers permanently? Uh, after the show, like
Maybe, I don't know. I feel like the Bengals are gonna be around for a bit because I feel like that's
I I I'm trying to remember in I saw a bit of her in the set in the Marvels,
like
the
set
behind the
photos.
scenes, yeah,
Yeah.
set photos, and I'm trying to remember. I don't think I remember seeing her having the bangle. Um, I will confirm this next episode. I will like look back in the photo if it's available still, and all that, and see if it's there. If not, then I have a feeling that was like a hint that maybe we're gonna destroy the bangle.
Mm.
Because think about it, we don't know who's the main villain. I don't know where is going on with episode 6. If we're setting up that okay to prevent maybe like Kama Carmen
Kamran.
come on, like if he's become a villain and maybe his mom is like in his head or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to take the bangle, like I think Kamala will destroy it and then accidentally get her powers that way. I think I could see that happening in episode 6, but I don't know where they're gonna go. So
Yeah.
I just feel like because let me say, like after the death, I feel like this episode, like I don't feel like this episode was like a episode 5 wasn't like a put unputted episode. Like it felt like filler for
Mm-hmm.
for the most part. Like we got the partition. Like I appreciate that, but like meeting Kamala's grandma's mom for the first time, and like adding the blanks. Like I appreciate that, but then I just think it's so unnecessary. I think you couldn't say that for another movie or show. I
Yeah.
I just which I like. That's my favorite part. But like I don't know if it's necessary for the story we're doing, which I don't know what
Right.
the story is about.
Right. That's the thing. There's so many different threads, and you only
Yeah,
need like one of them. But they've decided to go with like 5.
yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
it's not helping me enjoying the show like
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Can I,
yeah.
just like another thing, like, has it felt like the pacing is off for you? Like, especially episode 4 for me, or just like tonally, it felt weird.
Yeah,
Like there'd be like really like fast paced action scenes, and then like it would switch pretty abruptly to like slow dramatic moment with her family,
yeah.
and
I
I which is like a problem that I had with like the new Thor movie as well, and also with Multiverse of Madness. It's
yes,
like becoming a problem for Marvel in general.
yes.
It's
I
like
agree with
the
you.
editing feels very loose.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I trying to remember. I I enjoyed the pacing of this show. They're doing very like I call this calculating pacing.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the joke. Let me bring up the Joker. Yes, folks, the Joker, Joaquin's movie. Um, I know a lot of people don't like the film. I like it because it doesn't outstay its welcome like certain films. Like you
Mm-hmm.
brought up Multiverse and the fourth Thor film. I think the show is very good at being calculated what needs to be in the scene, what we need to get, like important emotional scene, like you brought up the family, like the mom,
Mm-hmm.
and the action scene. Like I think the pacing of episode 4 was good, but the pacing in episode 5 was very down because we did have nothing there. There was no action scene. It was just kind of like relaxing before the big thing that's gonna happen in episode 6. Um, and so I don't feel that with the Disney Plus shows. Um, it varies. That's the thing. I want to say it varies from show to show.
Yeah,
Like it depends on who's doing this. If they know what they want from the scene, then it's gonna be paced well. If not, then it's not gonna work for you or for me. And I think this show does have a lot of patient issues and certain things. It's just you know it's just this problem. And yeah, and the movies is having this problem as well. Like I I think Marvel needs to like I think they need to cut back. Like I feel like they're forcing this. I think I seen in this trend. They're trying to do the director a tour thing, Phase 4, and
it yeah. I don't
you
know.
know it's
It
not the
does.
main problem. It's other things, but like I for me, it's like I get you want the directors have free freedom, but you need to rein in back on certain things to be cohesively pacing well as a film for general audience. And I don't think they're somewhat losing it so in these areas, but
Yeah, it's weird. It's like every time they let something become more of like an auteur thing, it like
yeah,
like I wanted them to like shake up the Marvel formula, but
yeah,
the movies that I've liked in Phase 4 have been the ones that are the most formulaic. Like I like Shang-Chi and Spider-Man.
yes,
Because like just
um,
because you're mixing it up doesn't mean that it's better than
like
what you had.
yeah. Um, I know you don't like this movie, but I like Black Widow because the first two acts are paced well, but then the third act just falls apart completely because of just things that happen, right?
Yeah,
And
I mean,
and
I
and
think I liked the first two acts. I'm trying to remember now.
the
Now it's been
Eternals,
the Eternals was just so
so long.
boring. Uh,
Yeah. I
it's like
think
it forgot like is clearly like an auteur thing, but it
yeah,
forgot that it was also supposed to be a blockbuster.
yeah. I agree. Um,
Yeah.
let me actually compare this to DC because I brought up Joker. Last year the James Gunn the Suicide Squad
Hmm.
was paced well. It was
I
too
love that movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love that movie as well, and that movie paced well, and that's the kind of hour I want from these superhero films.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then I feel like the Batman is a good example of being a good director or tour, but they know they're making a summer blockbuster. I
Hmm.
think I think just the issue right now is that there's they're not finding the right balance right now with these certain films. I feel like because some of these films were not supposed to be released in this time. Like it, like I think COVID did mess up their schedule,
Hmm.
and so like these certain projects feel rushed. Like I can definitely feel that Thor: Love and Thunder has so many ideas,
Hmm.
but how you can cram it into like a 2 hour I feel like who in their right mind thought like 1 hour is gonna satisfy anyone with these multiple storylines. It's like I don't get that. It's like so but yeah, like I know let me piggyback like the Batman like that's like 2 hours long, but like I never felt tired. Like I was so engrossed with that film.
Hmm.
And I think Marvel needs to take their time with these movies. Be 2 hours, tops. Let it breathe. Like, put the necessary world building that you want that's important into the story, but not important later on. Like, don't do that, please.
Hmm.
Because it's not going to satisfy anyone. Like, it's just like, because no one cares about the Blade post credit scene. Because you didn't, well, I mean, first of all, you didn't show Mahershala Ali as Blade is like a criminal crime for me in the history of post credit scenes. I don't know. Yeah, yeah, I don't feel, I, I don't feel, getting back to the show, I don't feel as the pacing is the problem with the show. I just feel like it's the vision of the show I have a problem with. Like, I, I don't know. Like, it's supposed to be a kid show, and then it's trying to balance this more mature, dark, like thing, and then it's trying to be like a superhero show. Like, it's struggling too much, and I don't see the vision of what the show is trying to aim at.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Um, but I'm trying to figure out what else that we need to bring up. That let's kind of relax a little bit and see what else I can check. See what else we need to discuss. Oh, I'm looking at this. Oh, I actually, the boy his powers getting that way. That is true from his comics. So, it's kind of cool to see that that's gonna be true. But still weird in a lot of ways. And I guess we're getting into like the last scene we see is like let's get into wrapping up things. Well, we see Bruno again. Finally, I'm very happy about that.
Hmm.
Um, I was very intrigued when he say his parents are no longer there, or like he doesn't have parents. Um, I'm very intrigued where we're gonna expand to that in in the nearest future when we see him again. Um, uh, yeah, and then of course the boy I don't care naming him because I'm tired. I don't care about this man anymore. But he did endanger Bruno, and we saw like a the drone from No Way Home, Far From Home. I'm sorry, it, attacking them, and then and explode. The store. So yeah, I'm kind of curious where we're gonna go. You have any theories you have, Will, about episode 6? Where we're gonna go? I mean,
I have no idea. Like, I don't know. I think it's just going to be like a very generic, like, Kamran is on the run from the DODC and has powers, and Kamala has to, like, talk to him, and then his, like, powers start getting out of hand,
God,
and they have to fight, and then she talks him down, and then he's
all
arrested, and then it's over.
right,
But I hope it's more interesting than that.
yeah, I have a feeling that's very true.
Yeah.
I I I I don't know. It's I theorize we're gonna see our debut of Miss Marvel, Kamala in the
Hmm.
suit.
Yep.
Is gonna be this like montage of her being the superhero that she wanted to be early on from the show,
Hmm.
and and then we get this classic like like Fantastic Four first issue, like she's gonna stop this catastrophe event that's going to happen, and then she would be wide known. And then I want to bring up a possibility if we're going to get a post credit scene in the show. I would definitely see her maybe meeting up Monica or Carol as her introduction into MCU like proper, and like her next journey is going to be in the Marvels. So that's how I'm going to predict in episode 6.
Hmm.
So yeah. Man, it's crazy. It's been like 5 episodes, and we're like towards the end of the show. So, I'm very excited to see episode 6. So Will, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming this week and talking
Yeah.
about the show.
Yeah. Thank you.
Um, yeah, no problem. And yeah, thank you everyone for being patient. For this gaps of the podcast, but hey, what are you gonna do? You need to wait, and I think this has been very the funnest discussion I have so far in the Disney Plus shows. And yeah, and I will. You've seen the fourth Thor,
Hmm.
so I was kind of thinking that after we kind of wrapped up Miss Marvel in episode 6, we will discuss the fourth Thor afterwards, and
Yeah.
and do a spoiler class. So that sounds good for you.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay. That's awesome. So thank you everyone for listening to the Marvel Plus Talk on Miss Marvel episode 4 and 5. Me will be back next week, of course, on the series or season finale. I don't know if they made that very clear, but of episode 6 of Miss Marvel, and of course we'll be discussing the Thor Love and Thunder finally as the spoiler cast. So watch out for that, you guys, for next week. Have a good Monday, everyone.